And now shifting our focus over to Eloise and just looking to refine her backhand a bit. Whilst it's not too bad as it is now, there's clearly a noticeable lack of turn on the finish. And if we just draw inspiration from Novak Djokovic's backhand, where he clearly wraps the racket around his body on the finish, Eloise is going to try and do the same to generate more power. We'll also be working on a more assertive wrist turn and just reinforcing the use of the top hand on her double-handed backhand. So the first thing we're doing here is we're just having Eloise focus on feeling that wrist movement with her left hand. And the goal is to have the racket head turn over a solid 180 degrees. And as she gets more comfortable, I'm just asking her to speed up that motion. Moving on to the next drill, Eloise is going to take on some left-handed forehands whilst gripping the throat of the racket. This is a great exercise for you all to practice too, because it helps in developing feel with your non-dominant hand, all while honing in on that wrist movement as well. In this next step, we're gradually adding the bottom hand. So now you can see Eloise has placed her thumb and index finger on the grip. And by maintaining a light grip on the bottom hand, we're just really emphasizing the effort and control that is required from the top hand. And yeah, it's just about reinforcing the crucial role of the top hand in this process. And then bringing it to the last stage of this progression, Eloise now has her entire bottom hand on the grip, with the exception of raising her pinky finger. Just a subtle adjustment, and this nearly full grip provides a bit more control through the shot while still allowing her to feel the dominance from the top hand. It's just about getting that balance between control and power, and the top hand is the main contribution when it comes to both pace and spin on the double hander. So now just trying to fix that follow through and that exaggerated finish. We're just getting her to wrap the racket around a bit more, and this will just give her a bigger range of motion and, allow her to engage the hips and the shoulders a lot more as she strikes through contact. And you can see her back foot is holding her back a bit here, but we'll fix that. It's just about having a more comprehensive swing and just using the whole upper body for a more powerful backhand. So we can see her turning through a bit more, but nowhere near enough. So I'm just going to pause her here for a moment and just ask her to show me the racket on the other side of her head. It seems she's stopping just a tad early, and we're aiming for that full follow through here. And even though it's not quite happening every time, you can see that there are glimpses of it. So you can see in this shot in particular, there's more of a finish. You can see the racket finishing on the other side of her head. So it's, again, a step in the right direction. And then finally here, I'm just explaining to her to release that back leg a bit more to maximize the rotation of the upper body. This time I'm feeding the basket from the other side of the court, just to make it a bit more realistic when she eventually tries to do this in point play. We're attempting to bring everything together in these last few backhands. While it may not be perfection just yet, Eloise has made good strides in her progress today. So let's have a look.